Shop Talk with TNT here. I'm Trent Nyhus, Farmers Insurance and Nyhus Agency.
Tad Peterson, LakePlace.com, Brothers Realty.
We're here today with the We Are Network with the owner, Bob. Bob, I'm not even going to attempt your last name because it's going to be hard and I'm not screwing it up right away. So, Bob, thanks for having us today. For people that don't know what the We Are Network is, kind of explain just the 1,000-foot view of what you guys do.
Yeah, so it's Rombach. And what we do is we are in communities. We do so we do live streaming for a lot of communities in Northwest Wisconsin. Basically, big pictures, we like to bring and spotlight and focus on the positive aspects of small town life, which a lot of it has to do with the schools but small businesses, town events, the good stuff about living in small towns. Now we found kind of a niche within that of doing high school sports, but the big picture is to really celebrate living and being neighbors and the community aspect of small town life.
So we'll start from the beginning then.
Okay.
You're from Grantsburg, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so graduated from Grantsburg. That's where his headquarters is located, right in downtown, heart of Grantsburg.
Never been downtown Grantsburg before.
Haven't you?
Yeah.
Welcome to
It was
Grantsburg.
all new to me. I've been to Grantsburg many times, but never on Main Street.
I'll take you to a great breakfast place.
So, graduated from Grantsburg, and then kind of when did the We Are Network start?
Well, that's an interesting question. So I used to work for the radio station just across the river in Pine City. I used to do play-by-play on the radio for them, covered like Grantsburg, Webster, Simon, Frederick. That was kind of my territory. So that's where I got my start doing play-by-play. And at one point I thought, blogging was becoming a thing. So I started a blog called We Are Grantsburg. That was in 2011. And so started that up. Started recording my games and then reposting them on the blog, and with the radio station's blessing. It was fine, and that's where it started. And then I was doing that for about a year. I just kind of started making it a business. Started charging some advertising, not much, but no video or anything at that point. Just community news. And then we moved away to northern Illinois, basically suburbs of Chicago, just looking for a change. And so We Are Grantsburg kind of died down. Of course, you can't really do that. So we moved there for 5 years, and then came back in 2017 and started it up again. We came back. My wife's a physical therapist. I remember the conversation when we decided to come back up. We said, we were just sitting there and we're like, well, you're a physical therapist. You can find a job kind of in the area, no problem. They're always in demand. I guess I'll just fire We Are Grantsburg back up and see if I can make a go of that and find a job. So I did the first part, but never had to find a job because it was a perfect storm, because started We Are Grantsburg back up. Live video on Facebook was just basically maybe a year old at that point, and I was coming back just to start doing audio of the games again, and that's how I started. And then a mom wasn't going to be able to go to a game in St. Croix Falls, so I was going to be there. She said, can you please try to figure out how to do video of the game? So my very first video is of my phone, I don't know if you're familiar with St. Croix, they've got a little booth up at the top, and I just had it kind of leaning against, they had a little ledge leaning against, no microphone or anything. I was doing my audio thing because I'm a radio guy, and so it's just basically right center court or whatever on the net for a volleyball game or match. And then I was doing the thing so you can barely hear the audio, but that was the first one, and it was like, holy cow, a lot of people watched this. How did they even find it? And like I think I had 15 people watch it or something at once, and like, whoa, that's pretty cool. So that's kind of where the video part was born. And then I kind of just started adding equipment, a tripod here, and upgraded my phone to an iPad. Like it found some software that I could do some cool graphics and scoreboard and stuff. And we're still kind of monkeying with that 5 years later, like trying to get the best we can for what we can. It's always kind of been the thing. Like let's do the best we can with what we can afford at the time. We're trying to stay debt free, trying to just build it, bootstrap it, so it's all because of sponsors and stuff like that. It's how we can upgrade that stuff. So I guess, does that answer the original question? I don't know.
Yeah. I'm going to guess COVID kind of exploded it.
So, okay, that's a good question. So in 2017 it was Grantsburg, and then we added Luck and then Siren by the end of the year, or like early 2018.
Did anything happen in Grantsburg in 2017 that also helped? Anything else kind of?
I don't know. You see how?
Yeah.
This guy's gonna go. A couple guys are gonna go pro. Yeah. So it was, and that's definitely part of the story because you start, and I think it would have gone either way. Just COVID and just that's where things are going with the live streaming and stuff. But yeah, there was that was a huge thing. That was gas on the fire with the Chanel boys playing football here. Just insane. So like I said, I had like 15 people on that first volleyball match. A couple years later when Leo's senior year, we were at basically the game before state, and we had like 1,000 viewers at a time. So it's like that's how meteoric. We wouldn't have had that
I think
kind
we were
of.
one of them.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
In my living room.
Yeah, it was snowy. It was a heck of a game.
Chippewa Falls or Stanley Boyd.
Where the heck were we?
Amherst, I remember.
That was the first year. That game was the coldest I've ever been.
That was
in
in
my
Chippewa
life.
Falls.
That was in Chippewa Falls. I don't know. It was a really nice field. Both of them were really nice fields. Doggone, where was it? Oscar Fairchild? I don't know, but it was cold, and we played. See, it's all leaving me. I could ask somebody behind me; she would know. Well, who were we playing? Where were we playing that first game?
I can't remember.
See, she can't remember.
The second one was in Chippewa Falls.
Our greatest game, the best game that I've ever done was the Regis game.
Yep.
The week before we had, just from a personal standpoint, Grantsburg beating Regis, like they beat us a couple years prior, but we don't need to go down that right. But that was, we still watch that game. Like we had an open house here and had that game on 3 years later. So that was John and Leo both playing. I think so. Well, Leo had like 22 tackles and just was everywhere. But anyway,
That was just Leo.
I think it was just Leo. Yeah, the year before was John and Leo at Amherst, and those guys were good. Amherst was really good. So anyway, that was a big catalyst with those guys, and then we had Cody Ensign, Unity, and we had Jack Washburn, Owen Washburn, and Webster. Like it was awesome in the whole area here. You got Stranky down in Turtle Lake. You've got the kid from Amory, hockey. This is amazing.
Max Grand down in Ellsworth, Minnesota. So.
Oh man, the Ellsworth kids, we cover state track from every year.
Oh yeah.
Watching those boys run, they just smoked everybody. What was it? The 4x4, the 4x2. It was so 4x1. Oh my gosh, those guys are fantastic. So yeah, it's great sports time in the We Are Network right now. So. Anyway, that did help, and then so we went from Grantsburg to Luck, and then Siren. So we had 3, and then the next fall we added 4. We added Unity, Webster, St. Croix Falls, and Cameron. I think it was. I think that's what it was. So we were up to 7. Was it Cameron? Was it? Maybe Cameron was. It was Frederick. Yeah, Frederick was
the whole Lakeland conference.
Yeah, the whole Lakeland basically. So it's down 35 and across to St. Croix and then us, and then we added Cameron and Amory and Osceola before COVID, and then when COVID hit, we added 5 more that summer. And then when COVID hit, we tried to do. It was really stressful. Everybody had different stresses during that time, but for us, it was. We added 5 new towns, so we were up to 15, including Clayton. We added Shell Lake, Flambeau, Ellsworth. Anyway, so we added, and Barron were the 5. So we not only added 5, we tried to do, because it was limited attendance. So we did the varsity, which we're good at. Like that's what our knit. That's what we're good at. But then we try to do JV as much as possible and C squad and even middle school because grandmas and grandpas and even parents couldn't go to games.
Yep.
So last year was just like, oh. So when that was, so coming into this year, kind of just took a little bit of a breath.
Yeah.
We haven't expanded since then. I think it was just a time for me, my wife, for Stacy, our general manager, for us to kind of just breathe a little and make sure we are taking care of the 15 towns that we are currently serving because it was such a whirlwind last year, or was it last year? Yeah, basically 2 years ago now, 2020, whatever.
Yeah.
So we haven't really done anything expansion-wise. We're just trying to grow roots at this point and trying to, make sure people know we're not just some random company from Grantsburg that's kind of whatever. So anyway, yeah, good question. Yeah, that's how it
So
kind of
you're in
grew.
15 schools.
Right, we have 15 We Are towns, and that can go up and down. Like we ventured into Minnesota, like Grantsburg, if people don't know, we're right on the border of Minnesota. So it made sense, if you're gonna start a business, kind of geographically kind of want to do a radius.
Yeah.
So we went over to Bram to start with.
Oh, okay.
Bram, Minnesota, if you've ever heard. They were really good in basketball for years and years. They're a little bit down now, but still a good team. I really like their athletic director, but it didn't work out in Minnesota. They're I know people will say what they want about the WIAA, and there's a lot to talk about. That's probably outside the scope of this video, but
that's probably the one thing that we'll push that one up there. Yeah.
I have some buds at the WIA. Like they're good people there. Yeah. But anyway, on the Minnesota side, it was crazy once it came to playoff time. Like the fees and like how much they charge, and it's like I don't know if anybody could do a business like what I have over there. I mean, God bless them if they can. But if you're not Channel 9 or if you're not, Clear Channel or whatever, iHeart, whatever it is now, good luck. I mean, they charge an exorbitant amount. So,
Which is, I mean, like, I look at what you guys are doing, like, I mean, and I'm not unique. There's 1,000 people like me. My kids play sports.
yeah,
My father goes to Texas for the winter.
yeah,
So he can, I mean, Turtle Lake doesn't use We Are, they just,
Yeah.
they do their own YouTube channel.
Yeah.
But he, once you figure out how to get him into YouTube, he can watch the game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's, I mean, I guess that's kind of a shame if Minnesota doesn't
Yeah.
hop on board with that kind of stuff because
Yeah.
you're missing out, really.
and it's the playoffs. It's
Yeah.
not like in same over here. So the way it works is during the regular seasons in any sports, it's just like a radio station going in or whatever, and it's up to the athletic director if they're going to let you do it or not. And obviously, I mean, athletic directors are happy to accommodate us. But once you get to the playoffs, then the WIA and Rush Media is who owns the rights to the playoff broadcast. So you pay them for the rights to do it. That's a common practice, and that's fine. That's where it's a problem in Minnesota. MSHS, or Minnesota State High School League. They just don't have it figured out yet. Maybe they will at some point, but it was like, we don't need to get too inside baseball, but it was like, it just depended where you were playing, and that committee made the decision on how much. So it was like, it was always changed. It was like, sometimes it was $1,000, sometimes it was $500. It's like, oh my gosh, we can't afford it.
Yeah.
We're a little brand here. We have, however many sponsors. We're not going to be able to pay for that.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I really liked, we had a great announcer in Bram too. It's a shame. I'm still trying to get him to come over here and do some stuff for us.
So when you set up your stuff in a school, I mean, we'll go into your pricing and stuff here, but you give them a camera, right? I guess walk us through how that works.
Sure. So it's sort of evolving at this now. Some schools have installed that huddle camera that Turtle Lake uses. So that's a different beast. But generally, when I started, I set people up with like my guys and gals who would do the games. The announcers would get the stuff. So we were running off an iPad and tripod and microphone, basically. So I would provide that to my people, and then they would kind of be in charge of that. Sometimes the athletic director would keep it in there.
So when you say your people, you mean whoever's going to film the game at. So if you were going to do it in St. Croix, St. Croix's got a guy that videos, and then they find their own announcers.
It's basically, I find the announcers and they're the ones who keep track of
Okay,
this stuff.
okay.
So yeah, like St. Croix, it's Chris down in St. Croix. It used to be Dennis down in St. So they would take care of the stuff. They'd bring it to the venue and they'd set it up. They'd attach to Wi-Fi or whatever. So
And it goes through your
Yep.
your network,
yeah. So they'd use the school's internet and then through a process it'd get onto the We Are Facebook page or.
So you are kind of at mercy of other schools.
Yeah.
I was watching the Cameron Durand game.
Yeah.
And I had trouble watching.
Yeah, I know, and that's.
But that's most likely the mercy of with us with their
yeah. We were just talking about that before you got here. How that's still a pain point for our business is the towns that we're in, the schools that we serve, like We Are schools are great. We've got all that figured out how to get on. Every school seems to be a little bit different, and that's fine. But when we take our stuff to a new school, even though I've talked to the school and talked to the athletic director and the tech people, until you're there, you don't know if it's going to work or not. So that game.
Yeah, I suppose that
it was.
Yeah, you hadn't been in that school before.
Hadn't been in that school, even as much as they had prepared, like we had talked. They said, "Here, you're all set." It just, when we got there, it just didn't work. And they tried their hardest during the game to get that thing going.
It got better.
Okay,
it did get better.
Good.
Yep.
I felt so terrible. I mean, that's such a huge game.
Yeah.
And not just because it's We Are Cameron or whatever. It's like, that's the goal, is to provide a great service to people. And when it doesn't go right, gosh. I still remember the first time I took my stuff from little We Are Grantsburg to a Webster game. And it was like maybe 2 weeks into the business or whatever, and I thought, well, I'll just go there, I'll use Webster, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know about filters or IP addresses or any of this. We were talking about, like, you guys said we need a tech guy. It's like, I need a tech guy too. Like, I don't know anything about what's going on. So I get up there and it's like that game. Like, it's just choppy. I can't get online. I'm like freaking out. I got home that night and I go back live. I'm like, I'm really sorry. I really wanted to do it. Like, I've gotten over that a little bit because you can only control what you can control, and we did our best to get those games.
You're only broadcasting these schools' home games, right?
Yeah.
And then when they hit a playoff, then you're trying to expand your.
Yeah, that's the idea. Once, like, Cameron and Unity are both We Are towns, and they played each other in Hudson. We had trouble with that one too. Hudson, I mean, that's a big school. You'd think you'd be able to.
One school.
Yeah, and I'm not blaming. I mean, like I said, you just don't know until you get there and set up. But I think that's something that we're going to have to work through, and I'll be in talks with our WIA and Rush Media, and I'm sure we can figure something out.
As soon as everybody has it.
Well, that's the thing.
Right?
Well, that's what you would think. I mean, I know those guys are streaming too, so it's like, wow. So anyway, that's you're picking at a scab here, man. But that is every business has you overcome one problem, and you hope you don't have to keep doing that problem. You want different problems to overcome as you grow or whatever. So you want those things to kind of go away. And that one's just still festering a little bit as far as like we just can't quite we can't bring our own internet in. I don't think. Maybe there's a way to do that, and I don't know. If you guys know, let me know.
Elon Musk will have that figured out. Maybe partner with you.
Well, yeah, I know. Well, I've looked at it a little bit, but it's not ready yet. Starlink. I things, it's still in its infancy. You think of it like live streaming and high-speed internet. We're still in their infancy. If you think about when TV came around or radio, it was still, it took a long time for it to be color TV or to be able to. Everything, we're still in growing pains just as an industry, I think.
But I mean, it's like football playoffs this year, prime example. Me and you were in my office with, I'm bringing out, computer screens, and we got 4 screens set up. We're watching this team and that team and this team, So I love going to events and watching them live, but sometimes it's like, well, that one's 2 hours away. That one's the other direction. Watching these live streams, it is interesting to see the variety of how people do it. Some people just simply put a camera on and it's pointed at the field, and that's what you watch.
Right.
We are somebody's panning, somebody's announcing, and different schools do their own and their very varying success.
Yeah,
It is. I like the We Are is actually one of the ones that are nice to watch because it's always announced.
Yeah.
It's always, the ads are clear on there, and it's quality.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's one of the things that I think does set us apart and gives us a little bit of value. Because sometimes a school will be like, well, can we just set up a camera and have somebody run the camera? Like, at least we'll have somebody run the camera. Like, no, that's not exactly, anybody can do that. Like, what's the value that the We Are network brings? And it's like having somebody in, because I think people love, just like back when we were kids, your name's in the paper, cool, cut that out. Your picture's in the paper, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of that's how I feel. Like, you want to hear the name. You want to hear, if you can keep some stats, great. If you can tell us how many points somebody has, if you can tell a story about a kid, or like some of our announcers are just phenomenal. They've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
They can tell you, well, this family, I had that kid in school.
I was just going to say, like, you were announcing with Nick Hallberg, which was so interesting because he coached all them kids for so long.
Yeah.
And so, like, he would throw in little personal things about him. That was not like I need to know that stuff about Grantsburg kids, but it made it more interesting.
I think so.
Yeah.
Nick did a great job. I mean, we had I'm really blessed with the people
the
that
kid
we
from
had.
Unity. He gets a little excited.
His name? Keenan Hacker.
Yeah.
He does a phenomenal job. Lucas Kirchner. Like, we've got a bunch of kids. Lucas is down in Ellsworth.
He wanted to come interview all our kids.
Yes.
The game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was trying
so cool.
to. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Which I think it would have been okay, but he kind of sprung it on us with 5 minutes before the game started.
No, but he's been such a pro down there. We've got kids running stuff in Webster. They did a great, like, sometimes the kids, the high school students do, like, and that's super cool for me. Like, you want it, like, last year, Ethan Tyler from Unity did it for us for a couple years. And then he went on, and now he's pursuing a degree in communications and sports broadcasting. Like, how cool is that? That you can, that this can springboard something like that.
Could the school partner? Like, do they have a communications class in school? Could that be part of their,
Well, I know Lucas is trying to do like a senior capstone type of a thing down in Ellsworth. I'm not 100% like understanding what he's doing, but he's like using this experience to do a senior project with, even though he's just a junior. I think he's just a junior. So it's really cool when we can have that kind of partnership with the school and the kids can really dig in. But we also have some great older people that are announcing, like old teachers and old coaches, retired. I shouldn't say old, but they'll call themselves old. Those retired teachers and coaches who have been around and still want to be around.
Siren, I thought did a good job.
Gosh, Jenny is phenomenal. Yeah, she's like Miss Siren over there. Yeah. She's so good. Yeah. So like I was saying, I'm so blessed with the people that do the announcing for the We Are Network. I really can't say anything bad about it. I mean, it's just, they're all motivated. They all show up on time. They all do their very best. Like, it's really, really, it's a blessing. And they understand, like, this is important to people. You mentioned your dad in Texas or something, right?
And there's lots of them like that.
That gives me, like, when we first started and I started getting grandmas and grandpas, like, chiming in the comments, like, I'm watching from Florida, I'm watching from Arizona or Texas. I'm like, this hair still stands up on my arm when I think of, like, this is connecting families, this is connecting community. It's way cooler. It's just really neat that it builds community and it helps families and it lets grandma see grandkid play volleyball or whatever. It's really neat.
Well, and that's kind of what I really like about the We Are Network, personally, is coming from a business owner. Okay, I pay you guys my money.
Yeah.
I know the school's not having to pay you that because so we're taking care of that portion of it, but I get text messages from anytime there's a game on in the We Are Network, and my friends are harassing me every time.
Awesome.
My ugly mug being on there. But
we can do commercials if you want to do like a 30-second commercial.
that was that.
Yeah, because I really like the We Are Network because it's free for people.
Yeah.
A stressful thing was my nephew last year was in the state championships for wrestling. And I remember I paid for a subscription for my dad to come over. And my dad is not technology sound. I know Randy, I know everybody that knows him is going to understand that. But And he was just yelling at me in the living room, and I'm like, I can't control this. Like, this is out of my control. And like, I remember.
I can't click my home.
Yeah. The actually championship match, instead of just having the three Division 1, 2, and 3 up, they would like zoom in the match. Well, he was in the Division 3 one, and they were zooming in on a different match.
Oh.
So when he won his state championship, he didn't actually get to see it. I saw it before it happened because I was watching it on my phone through the subscription that I bought, and like that subscription for that day, I think it was like $10.
Yeah.
And where you guys, it's free. Like you can get on everybody has Facebook.
Yeah.
And you can get on Facebook. Like I remember Tad's dad calling every home game and sitting next to Jody, Tad's wife, and like just them trying to explain it, like what's going on, or like when we drove up to Frederick.
Facebook and YouTube are two different things.
Yeah. Whose Facebook do I go to? You just type "we are" and then type in the town, and then he's like, oh, it's not up, and it's like, well, it's 3 o'clock, Jim. It's not up yet. It'll be there in time. I'm sorry, Jim. I love you. I think you're a great guy, but
you're just throwing everybody under the.
Yeah.
But no, that's a good point, and that's something that we do try to mitigate too, because a few things. A lot of people don't know how to use the technology. Like they do have a Facebook page, but they don't know how to get to our stuff. So recently, in the last couple of years, we do have it pulled over to the website, because people can navigate to the website and they can go to the We Are Ellsworth page on that, and then it'll be there. So
and that page is linked on most people's school websites.
Yeah, so and it's been cool because like Wish Sports is a big, the place that I go to find stats or standings for most sports. And they usually have the live stream linked in this. And they just do that. Like, oh, cool. Thanks for,
that is really cool.
Yeah.
If you know that, if you go to their schedule, to the right it'll say stream.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know how he knows that.
Well, we put in our stuff. He did that for COVID.
Okay.
So we put in our stuff then, and he just must have attached it whenever there's a home website.
But actually, we were talking about that Cameron game.
Yeah.
I went to that and clicked it, and it sent me to a Grand radio station.
Yep.
Oh,
I would have
really?
never known that was streamed.
Interesting.
But it was only, if my screen was this big, I could only watch it this big.
Really?
So but I could see it. It was way bigger than yours that day.
Yeah.
Just throw them jabs in.
Oh gosh, it's bleeding now. Yeah, no, that's So we're trying to make sure that we catch those people who might not be able to. But yeah, to your point, it is free for the viewer. Like, so you had to pay $10 or $11 for it's NFHS, and some schools use NFHS.
There's a lot of schools that do.
Yeah, they do still use that, and that's fine, and that's legit. Some schools do it themselves, don't run ads. They might have a scoreboard or whatever. That's cool too. We do it a different way. Like Clear Lake, they do a fantastic job. They just do it in their own school. They've got the camera on the clock, and they've got ads, and their announcers are phenomenal. They're the one that got away, kind of.
We have a little technical difficulty.
It's normal. We're not getting better. We're not getting better at it.
I think it's been a month, 2 years since we've done this. So
oh, really?
I think we're going to start over and go back. And maybe we can do some editing here, but go back to pricing.
Sure.
Start with pricing.
Yeah. So, these prices might change because we just started. I mean, I haven't changed prices since 2011 when I started We Are Grantsburg. So, disclaimer. But right now, we charge $100 a month or $1,000 a year for a school. So. Like Trent, you're in Ellsworth right now, so you pay I can't remember what you do. So either $100 a month or $1,000 for the year. If you wanted to get in on other schools, it would just be $30 a month or $250 a year. So, and that covers fall sports, so football and volleyball. And I'll do a cross country meet if there's a bunch of our schools around here. Like I'll go up to the Grantsburg golf course, which is like the hardest cross country meet to begin the year for these guys. And but I'll get on the golf court. No, I will not run with them. I'll get on the golf cart, and it's 2 laps, and I've almost hit somebody one time, and they didn't tell me I couldn't come back. Maybe I didn't get tattled on, but no. So that's fun. So I kind of know where. So that's cross country's tough to do. Track is tough to do. It's a 4-hour.
It's so spread out.
And it's spread out. Yeah. You can either do the field events or the track events, but
Yeah.
they're always in different places. But we do our best. So I do conference track and regional track generally in this area. And so, yeah, we'll do that in the spring. We'll also do baseball and softball in the spring. Winter, we do boys and girls basketball. A lot of times we'll be able to do hockey, like in Amory, we do hockey. We try to get as much wrestling as we can in the winter. So I can't think of. So we try to get. If we had more.
So your
manpower-
$1,000 gets you.
Yeah, it's like
a lot of.
Yeah, I would say between 60 and 80. I haven't looked recently, but about that. I mean, it's really good value, I think.
So when you if you're gonna go Turd Lake does not use VR, so you go
Yeah.
to Turd Lake and you say, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We need to have 4 sponsors, 3, 2. I mean, is there a minimum?
There's a goal. Like we have a goal.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, since I started in Grantsburg, we had a whole bunch of sponsors here, so that kind of subsidized until we grew those other ones. Yeah, kind of. It all goes in the same bank account, I guess. But but we'd like to get to at least like 10 sponsors. That's kind of our break even, really. So that's what we'd like to get to as fast as possible. So we go in. It's not up to the school to find the sponsors. We've got.
I was gonna say, great. You guys do it.
Yeah. Stacy's a fantastic general manager. She goes out and she talks to the businesses, harasses people, however you want to say it.
Well, but the worst thing about Ellsworth is I was in the chamber executive board meeting.
Oh, perfect time to come.
No, I was like, I knew about it because obviously the We Are Network was in our area way before it was down there.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there and I was like, I'm sitting on a gold mine. They have no sponsors right now. I can be the only person, me and Common Man. I'm like, I don't need to tell anybody. And then my big mouth opened, and then the floodgates opened up.
Yeah.
And then I contacted Stacy, and Stacy came down, and I think she had a full day ahead of her.
She did.
Yes,
she did.
What for a community? What's average? I mean, is 10 average, or is it?
No. I mean, that's break even, and like businesses.
No, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, is that average for a community, or is?
I think we're over 10 for an average. That's a good question. I need to look at that. I don't know that number.
I mean, I'm not picking on anybody that stops at our office, but it just that's and you guys probably have it here too. I mean, it's like once or twice a week somebody's stopping here looking for something.
Oh yeah, and that's part of doing business.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just I know here. I mean, it's wreath sales, it's candy sales. It's like it's. Be in the paper, it's be in this brochure.
Yellow book,
yeah. So that's just, if you have a storefront, from my point of view, it's like, that's just part of it. That's part of life. Like, you say yes to the things you like and no, and if it bothers you, that's,
It's the problem. You want to say yes to everything.
I know. Everything sounds good in the moment. So you got to kind of.
Our freezer stocked with cookie dough and
Omaha Steaks.
And so that's part of doing business. I know that kind of from the outside. People kind of have said that before, like, oh, that's just another thing.
Yeah.
Not usually business owners, but other people, like they're
But
afraid of.
yours provides value in return, though.
I hope so. Yeah, I mean that's the
that's
the goal. I mean, the cookie sales also provide value. Well, look at us, guys.
Yeah, we don't need to go down that road.
We try to put as much value. We're always trying to figure out how can we provide more value. So started off with like just the banner ad, and I think just the banner ad on all those is worth your money. But we also do what we're doing now. Like I came down to your Ellsworth office. We had a discussion. That video's been seen thousands of times now, and like that's a value add. You didn't pay any more for that.
That was going to be the next thing.
Oh, is it?
It's asking about commercials
Sure.
You see like school-based commercials, you see company-based commercials, and do you guys do all those too?
We do. So that's part of the sponsorship thing. Is we will come and we'll interview the business owners, and I love doing that. Actually, like getting to sit down with you. I got book ideas. Like I bought a book that you said like that you mentioned. We had a great time and get to connect with the business owner even more, and I get to learn about like how did you start your business? What made give me a success principle? Like that's a selfish thing for me. Like I love hearing that kind of stuff.
Well, us sitting here is pretty much selfish too. I mean, I love talking with other entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Other, I mean, it's
well, it's like iron sharpens iron.
Exactly.
You know. So I dig that part of it. But it's a value add for you too. Like I don't know how much you would have to pay for. How much would I have to pay for this?
Yeah.
Like it's valuable, so it's appreciated, and it and it helps you out obviously. So we do stuff like that. We do Facebook shout outs. We do things are shaking in your world. Like we'll let people know about it. So those are the kinds of things that
I say the commercials are good. I mean, some of them are like business owner commercials.
Yeah.
And some of them are, just need stuff about the school. And, no, you guys do a great job.
Thank you. They share a ton of content too on my Facebook. So if I win Agency of the Quarter or something like that, I know the We Are Network is going to share that, or We Are Ellsworth is going to share that. So they might not follow my page on Facebook, but then I go and look at my impressions, and I have over 3,000 impressions off of one picture.
Yeah.
And I know, okay, that $1,000 that I pay for my subscription for the year or advertising, okay, I'm getting the touches I need.
Yeah.
So like the pricing I feel is more than fair, especially when you look at it. And then if you have go-getters, like I know the We Are Ellsworth one, they'll do their concerts and stuff like that. Like they do, it's all. You can live stream as much as you want to do it, as long as you have somebody there to run it.
That's right.
Well, and that's kind of the magic of the internet too. like you think you're just a small town Grantsburg business streaming games for whatever, but you're touching people in like you said, Arizona, Texas, Florida. I mean, and that's a broad reach.
Huge. And that was one of the things going into it. I was like, why do we always think that since we're a small town, we don't deserve excellent stuff?
Yeah.
And I reject that idea. Now, are we excellent all the time? Probably not, at least in my mind. Like there's more there's higher things we can reach, but it's cool. Like we can focus on this town, and we can focus on Ellsworth or Webster or whatever, because you deserve it. Like it's awesome. Your town is different than my town, and we're not just, numbers or whatever. This is a cool town with a lot to offer, and I think it's helpful for, kids to see that, like the spirit, the community spirit, and that, people actually like living here instead of always, hearing about the crappy stuff that goes on. Yeah. There's plenty of that too.
Yeah.
We focus on
TV.
Turn on the TV. There's other sites around here that will tell you about crime rates, and you can look at the minutes of the school board meeting in the paper if you want to. So we stay away from those people's playground. We play in this arena, and it's been pretty good. So
I mean, like full disclosure, I'm not going to give any free advertising to another real estate agent, but like my dad watching a game, not Interlake, was on the We Are Network. But he asked me, he's like, why does that person have their realtor thing on there? Why don't you do that? Well, We Are Network isn't Interlake that.
Right.
Otherwise they would.
Right.
But we've talked to a lot of different entrepreneurs, a lot of different business owners, starters, and one of the common threads, kind of the common theme with talking to all these entrepreneurs is the focus on quality. Mm-hmm. Like we're going to, rather than focus on being big and huge and doing all kinds of stuff with little to no quality to it, we're going to be smaller, and we're going to focus on quality and build from there out.
Yeah.
So you have a good product, and you're in the 15 schools you're in. I mean, to me, I kind of feel bad that we're not on it. Really, I do. It's a quality product. It's kind of self-sufficient at this point. Once you get it established. Yeah. I like what you guys have to offer.
Oh, thank you. And the quality thing, thanks for saying that. It is definitely something we're still chasing. I mean, it's easy to, as an owner, or as a person, you kind of remember the misses a lot more than
you can say that too, Trent, and I can say that. I can have 1,000 different successful things, but one thing goes wrong, and it sticks in my brain.
Totally.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, so there's always things to overcome and fix and all that, but I think, and that's part of the reason, like I was saying earlier, we expanded to 15 fairly quickly. I mean, if it was a traditional, if I was a franchise owner,
Yeah.
to go 15 in 5 years,
Yeah.
that's really, and so that's why I kind of like put the brakes on that.
But then that's what I was talking about, the
Yeah.
quality versus, I mean, if you
Yeah.
were in it for the quantity, like, no, we need
Oh, but-
15 more, you know?
I told
Yeah.
people no this year. Like
Yeah.
there were several schools sort of in the area that wanted to do it. I'm like, I need to just focus on making sure that I have everything in
Yeah.
place for these
Yeah.
towns and these schools, so that, and then maybe next year we'll start expanding again or whatever. And I would expect that to start happening. That's your quality
Yeah.
point.
Well, I mean, you can tell you're passionate about what you're doing.
Yeah.
If I could listen to someone talk about their basket weaving business, but if they're passionate about it, it's interesting to listen to.
Yeah,
You know?
well, thank you. Yeah, it's been good to us. We've made a full-time income out of it while still being able to, and we've got, Stacy works for us. It's really cool to, that's a whole different thing when you start getting employees. You're not just in.
You gotta worry about their life.
It's not. You worry more about
Yeah.
that than you do yourself at some point. That's been really cool. She's doing a great job. So don't know what the future holds as far as expansion that way or whatever, but we're excited. It's a fun business. It's it coincides with our life too. My kids are getting older. Oh my gosh, you guys. So I've been doing play-by-play since flipping 2008 or something with a radio station. So that's kind of my thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a kid like playing varsity sports now, and it's different. It's different to call a game when he's playing. And oh my gosh! But I also notice when I'm not calling the game and just in the stands, it's way more nerve-wracking. So I like it when I get to be behind it. There's like this screen that I don't know, or this filter, this thing that I've learned to do. Oh man, it's crazy, but so that's fun too, to be able to call my son's game, and my other kids are getting older too, so they'll be in. So that's kind of fun, but it's fun seeing the kids in the area that are like excelling. Do we talk about it on camera? Like all the kids the boys from Ellsworth and the kid Strinky from Turtle Lake. We got all these kids. Hockey, I think we did talk about it. But it's and Carson from Grantsburg, Knutson, and Zach Miller from. It's just fun to see these guys and cover their journey as they move out.
Yeah.
Like Reagan Sorensen from Unity, she's won newcomer of the year at Stout basketball. Now she's starting her track season. She's going to throw javelin this year, which she's never done. She's I don't know. It's really fun to follow these kids and keep them connected and keep the community connected to that kid too. I mean, usually you just kind of, sometimes there would be a blurb in the paper, God bless the papers, but we can do it more real time and do that kind of stuff. So it's a fun thing to be in, and I really do love it. So yeah, thanks for saying that.
Yeah.
Well, this is probably a good place to wrap it up.
So,
Thank you again,
yeah.
Bob. Once again, Trent Nius Farmers Insurance, the Nius Agency.
Ted Peterson, LakePlace.com, Brothers Realty. You guys don't, there's probably only 2 of you still watching, but don't forget to like, subscribe. You can visit our Facebook page now, Shop Talk with TNT. Hit the like button. Thank you guys.
Thank you.